welcome to the Lalantia show. Today I'm coming on to talk about Galactic Faeries. So this may be a brand new topic to some of you. You may be like, what? Fairies that are galactic? Maybe brand new idea even to you. But whether it's a familiar term to you or it's brand new to you, this is kind of an introduction to them since I haven't done any videos about Galactic Faeries yet. But I do have a Galactic Fairy guide who is coming forward, who basically I'm going to kind of ask him some questions and share the things that he wants me to share. So, and just, yeah, kind of get down some of the basics regarding Galactic Fairies and my experiences with them as well. So if you are new here, my name is Lalantia. I'm a psychic realm channeler and energy healer, and I specialize in working with the magical realms. I work with dragons, unicorns, mermaids, fairies, all of the different magical beings. And I work with them to help you connect to your most authentic self. So the videos that I do, it all comes back to, you really. But these beings are here to help us. Many of them are. Of course, they're all different integrities, but many of them are here to help us to, remember who we really truly are, to remember our abilities, our wisdom, what we're here to do. And when we connect with that energy again, and to heal as well, and when we can connect back to that most authentic version of ourselves, to live in purpose, on purpose, in our purposes, and live an aligned and abundant life, then, that's what it comes down to, right? Living a happy life. And that's one of our purposes, to live a happy life. So one of my purposes is to help you open up to all of these amazing, incredible, magical beings that are available to help on your journey. So we all connect with beings in a different way. And they're, you may feel a stronger connection to dragons or a stronger connection to fairies or mermaids. And it doesn't matter. You go with what feels right to you. And that may be for a particular reason. It may also be something that changes. You may feel that stronger connection to them in this moment. And then, in next year or in 3 months, you may find that you feel a stronger connection to some other beings. Now, I have a very, very strong connection. Sorry, I see a little lipstick look like it got a little bit darker in one spot. It's going to drive me crazy. I was meditating right before this, so I didn't even look at myself till I realized. Where was I going? Oh, my connection with dragons has always been like the most intense, but that doesn't mean that they're the only beings that I connect with really, really strongly. So, I feel guided, and I know I'm guided. I can't really avoid it, especially with this guy that came forward recently. He's not going to let me, get by without talking to him, without, moving into this energy, because he's been showing up for a while and I've just been occupied with other things. So finally I was like, okay, I'm gonna go into this, and I know that they're a part of some things that are coming up for me and my teachings. So it's time to do this video and talk about them. So it doesn't have to be just one type of being that you feel a strong connection with, but at times you may feel that for certain ones. Okay, so Galactic Fairies. As we go into this, I first want to introduce my guide to you. His name is Heliorose. And I know they're not saying with a correct accent, but Helio is means like to the sun, or in Spanish, I think it's the sun. And when he told me his name is Heliorose, I knew that his name had meanings to it. And so to the sun and rose, like, it makes sense, right? So his name is probably something, his name is something that, is harder to translate to English, but that's the name that he gave for right now. So that's the English version of it. So I see him as kind of an etheric being. So I see him as not very, like, I don't see colors or anything around him. I just see him as kind of I see him as tall and kind of lanky, taller than human. He is very, he reminds me a bit of an elf on Earth, or the elves that I have worked with here. Um, but because he's very etheric, I don't see colors on him, not at this moment, anyways. As he becomes more present here, he may become more substantial, put it that way. But when I was having a conversation with him in meditation, and I'm hoping that we can kind of revisit the things that we talked about in meditation, um, he was saying a lot of things in regards to, what we need to know here on Earth right now. But before we get to that point, I want to say this, and he said this as well, that there are so many planets and solar systems and galaxies and whatever words you want to use, so much more than we have an awareness of right now. So when we're trying to figure out where somebody is from, it's going to bug me. When we're trying to figure out where a being is from, we may not always know what that place is. It may not be a place that actually we have ever connected with before, and we may not feel like we know what it is or can figure it out. And that's okay. So when I wanted to get some really specific details, he kind of shied away from specifics because it's like our human mind can't quite comprehend some of the stuff that is I don't want to say out there, but our mind can't comprehend some of this stuff. So it's hard to get super specific with things, and it's easier to just kind of be general, and then we go deeper from that place, right? Because we begin to open up, we begin to integrate that energy, which allows us space to integrate new energy. Okay. So Heliorose does come forward as a masculine energy to me. I feel him as a him. But there have been other galactic fairies that I have connected with that seem more neutral, like they don't feel like they have a gender. And that's how a lot of fairies on Earth are for me as well. So that's a pretty common fairy thing as far as like gender. They're not really gendered like we are. That's kind of a human thing, I think. A lot of it is kind of a human thing. But we all have masculine and feminine energy, and some have a stronger masculine or a stronger feminine energy. And it doesn't really matter about whether they're technically male or female. It's all words that we have created as humans to put people in boxes, really. So when Heliorose came forward, he came forward a while ago. And I just I keep seeing him, I keep feeling his presence, but I had my own resistance. For some reason, I had a resistance. So I sat down and I did some healing and I worked through some resistance, but he also came in and helped me connect some, I'm going to say wires. It's not really wires, but connecting some wires within my body that allowed, or within my energy that allowed me to open up a little bit more to his energy. It's a little bit hard to explain how it was working for me, and I kind of was zooming out a little bit on and off. I wasn't totally aware the whole time. Okay, so let's just go into the messages that he was bringing through. I have a notebook here because sometimes when I'm channeling, it's easier to start writing if I need to get out of my head a little bit. So if I am looking down, that's why. So one thing that he's been talking about is that, hold on, I'm just going to ask him to come in. So he says that the chaos of your world is not ready to receive. there is still far too much anger and frustration. You're not yet understanding the laws of the universe. And your healing has only just begun. You as a species fear connections. You limit yourself on beliefs, belief systems. You don't allow yourself to gain clarity by connection within. And as a whole collective, you are not following or finding the guidance from your own self, your own system. As a collective, you have yet to understand the oneness, and you perpetrate traumas, repeating cycles. There are patterns that you as humans can see over time on your planet. The wars and the destruction. Now, this is not to say that there are not wars or destruction on other planets. There is, as each planet goes through its own process. This is only to state a fact of where you are in this moment. Time is not linear. This moment changes. The energy of your planet is changing, always. But you are not yet ready, as a whole, to welcome other species of other planets. You are not opening your eyes to see within and outside of you what is real. You follow the external, your weaknesses. Your fears drive you, which leads to a chaos, an energy that causes more distrust, anger, and fear. You are empathic beings, yet you are disconnected from empathy. It may seem as though I speak harshly, as though I don't understand the good of humans. But it is not this. It is that this is simply the energy that resides upon your planet at this time. It is your reaction. This is not to discount you and your healing and your journey. This is not to dismiss what you have experienced and the growth you have gone through. This is simply to state that there is far more work to be done. And it is imperative for you as an individual to seek your own guidance from within, to find your power, and to lead from the light that exists within you. You forget who you are You forget that you are one with the universe. You forget that you came to have a human experience. And that it is not your full reality, that it is an experience, and that it is one that you can change at any moment. It is in your power, yet you still give your power away to external influences. It is time for you to renew your faith in yourself, for it is from within that you will begin to find faith in humanity around you. Your planet is in distress, and we, as you call Galactic Faeries, beings of other planets who have lived upon them for eons, nurturing and caring for the lands, the plants, the fauna and the life upon it. We have experienced far more than you at this moment as a human may yet comprehend or understand. We have experienced many wars. We have experienced planets dying, and we wish only to support you in your commitment to restore the planet Earth. While you are not yet ready for us to come upon your Earth in physical form, we can teach you, guide you, support you as you step into your role as healers, as creators of a new Earth. The new Earth is not a new Earth. It is the Earth you live upon in this moment. It is what you make of it. It is in your choices. It is in your actions. You are the manifester of this reality you live in. You must see it with love, with positivity, and gratitude. But you must also see where you must rise to make the change upon the planet that is needed for her healing. You, as a people, must gather in love and raise the frequency on Earth. This is not to be done in anger and hatred, although anger, as I understand, is a great driving force and is not to be shamed. But you must hold that anger with love to raise the frequency and to bring healing. You incarnated on Earth for a reason. You have great love for her, and you must use that love, that drive of love, to be the change. You, as humans, fear change. You fear the unknown. And at this moment in time, there are many unknowns upon your planet. Therefore, there is great fear. You can only control your own reactions. You cannot control others. Explore your fears within yourself, not radiating it out to others, but examining it, proving it false, and choosing to move into love. And in doing so, you will assist others in their process, as one by one the fear is neutralized and the love is rebalanced. As love is rebalanced upon the earth, a great shift occurs. And it is now that there is much fear that has been rising. This fear can come forward in anger. And as this comes up, it is to be purged, released. But as it comes up, it can trigger in others more fear. Go within and explore within yourself what your path is in this moment. I feel like there's a point that he wants to make about the Galactic Faeries and their role. And I guess at that point, what it feels like to me is that role is that, we're not really fully ready for it, but individually, some of us are ready to begin to deepen this connection with Galactic Faeries. And it doesn't just have to be Galactic Faeries, that's just a topic right now, but it can be all kinds of different galactic beings. But the Galactic Faeries have had experiences where they have already had to live through some of the things that we are going through, looking different, but yet with similarities. And so they have experience in this process that Earth is going through right now. And they want to help us because Earth is a very important planet. And they cannot ignore what is happening here because it is so important. So Heliorose is one galactic fairy, and others can look very different from him. Many do. I have connected with quite a few from Andromeda, and so far most of them have looked somewhat similar, but there are fairies just like on Earth that just look, I don't even know where to begin. They look so many different ways. So if you begin to nurture your connection with galactic fairies and begin to open up to them, then make sure you don't put any kind of box around them. Allow them to appear however they are, and remind yourself not to be afraid. Check their integrity, of course. You don't want to just invite in beings willy-nilly. Always check their integrity. But I know for me, there was a galactic being that had come in channeling in my group. Natalie and I were channeling together, and there was a galactic being that came in for somebody that we were channeling for. And this being was unlike anything I've ever seen before. And we were describing their skin. It was kind of like scales, but it was a different kind of texture and very thick, kind of like armor, and definitely a water being from a water planet. And just, Natalie and I channeling galactic beings together is always so interesting because we expand that energy so much together, but it is a reminder of that importance of allowing ourselves to open up to what they really look like and not limit ourselves by our human conditioning. So hopefully this video helps a little bit. I know it's just, there's so much more, but he's been coming in and I've just been feeling this importance of, coming on. And I know that I was told to channel more on YouTube for this year. So it only makes sense that, I just let him have his word, just let him speak for a little while. Now, when I do channeling like that, there are a few things I want to remind you of. One is that he kind of has to use words that I know for the most part. I'm not usually if something comes in and I have to kind of, it's like it automatically files through my own catalog of words I know. So sometimes there are words that I use though that I'm not really sure if I know what they mean, and I'm just having to trust in it. So I could have the word wrong. It could be what I there's a part of me that believed it was right. Another thing is sometimes when they start speaking, I might skip words because I'm not totally aware of what I'm saying. I am, but I'm not. It's like it just starts to come out. So if I skip words and you're just like trying to piece it together, that's why I'm not noticing that I'm skipping words, because I'm just like so busy translating it and just letting it, come through in translation. Sometimes it's just hard to explain how it is. Once you start channeling, you understand. But yeah, channeling is an interesting thing. So hopefully this has something powerful and important for you and helps you on your own journey and understanding too the things that are going on now. And he talks a bit, and this is one thing that I had talked with him about on my own, was the chaos on Earth. The chaos energy is still very, very high. Now, at the time of recording this, it is January 2021, so we do have an extra lot of chaos right now compared to what I would say is normal, but 2020 was kind of the same way. So this is definitely still this purging energy that's coming up. Now, we have entered into a new age, and so, we know that there are some big, big changes that are happening, but this energy has to purge in order for the new energy to have space, right? So this chaos energy right now may feel it is dragging us down in the sense of like the vibration here, but it's actually just to be purged out. So it looks bad, it feels bad, but it's actually just going to lead to us being able to hold a higher vibration because we are cleaning it out. It's not something that's going to be there forever. Okay. It's just a process, just where we are at this moment in our healing as a collective on Earth. So I think that's everything. Let me just ask him if there's anything else. He says go in peace, and he is encouraging you to find a place of peace within yourself and not to get caught up in the chaos energy, the importance of not getting sucked down into it, not getting wrapped up in it, not getting wrapped up in other people's beliefs or other people's truths, and really finding your own and sitting within your own truths. And I think that that's one thing, I know it's one thing we have really been getting taught big time, is that importance of really residing in our own truths and not getting wrapped up in other people's truths. So I'm going to let you go. This was a pretty long video, so hopefully this resonates with you, makes sense to you, whatever. If you feel called, I would love to invite you to my group called Sorceress's Circle. It is on Facebook. I host it with my friend Natalie, and we go live 3 times a week. We have teachings in there. We do channeling in there. We channel individual messages, just like I was talking about the one with the galactic aquatic being that had come in. Yeah, it's a great space. So the link is below. If you feel called to work with me one-on-one, I do have services available. So you'll find the link to my website below as well. And if you just want to have a conversation with me to see what might be a right fit for you, then just reach out and we can talk. Awesome. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.